Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You're Allah's chosen one, the chosen one to spread the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The chosen one, though the road is long, just know Allah won't let you lose your way. You are the mercy for mankind. You are the teacher for this life. Allah has blessed you with the Quran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, our dear audience, to Muhammad the leader alayhi salatu wassalam. In today's episode, we're going to discuss one of the important qualities that Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam had, and inshallah we're hoping to learn and put in practice and work on a plan, a real action plan, after we learn every episode on doing what Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam used to do during his life. I'm still joined by Professor Dr. Mamdouh Muhammad, a former professor at Johns Hopkins University. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Mamdouh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Right, Dr. Mamdouh, today we'll be talking about empowering team spirit. This is a really interesting topic, and I'd like to start by the first thing you wrote in your chapter, which were the words of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. He said the example of the believers is like that of one body.
One body.
When a part of it complains, all other parts of a body respond to that complaint.
Yes.
This is an amazing vision. I mean, if you visualize it, it really shows how important team spirit is.
This is exactly like people who are not aware that their body consists of many parts and many organs. The organs don't understand this. But you find that this part and this part and this part, they work collaboratively to make the whole body function well. And remember that Prophet Muhammad studied this and learned this from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are a few ayat in the Holy Quran that focus on the same concept. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. They are like brothers. No one is closer to you than your brother. So here, this feeling is in the heart of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he is implementing it by different strategies. Some of them are divine strategies. For example, the impact of the prayer. We have the right to pray individually, and we have to pray the right in collectively. All the time you find the ayah, the verses in the Quran addresses us collectively to perform the prayer. Even the acts of worship. Right? You cannot make all these acts. When Ramadan becomes easier, much easier for us to fast when we do it collectively. Immediately after Ramadan, when you try to fast for a few days, it becomes so difficult. When you do something collectively, it becomes easier. If we are a group of people and one of us started walking in the cold weather and we don't have transportation, so you will find all of us going there, you will find all the people are imitating us. So the team spirit is something very essential for the success of any organization, regardless of the number of the people, whether it's small or medium size or huge size, it still has great impact. Working as a team. And I think it's a global concept in every culture. When we work together, when I put my two hands together, I can carry something heavier than I can carry by my one hand. This is in every culture.
This concept made nations, I mean.
Absolutely. And this is how the people make nations, when they unite together and they have the same heart. They have the same vision and the same mission. They can produce wonders.
They work towards it.
Absolutely, working together.
So now, working individually does not outweigh the group work.
It should be totally the opposite. The working in a group outweighs working individually. No matter how strong and how smart and how qualified you are, still, when people put their heads together, things from the discussion come new things that were not available with any of them.
Right. So even if I'm doing an individual task,
You have to do
this
it.
will be a part of a group.
This task should complete the task of the person who is beside me, and so on and so forth. You're not working in isolation. Anyone in isolation, and this is something is very, very... that's why, by the way, at schools, I'd like to mention this example. One role of the teachers is when they work with the students is to focus on the two things together. To teach students how to work independently, because there are many things in life that we have to do independently.
Yourself.
I am responsible for that. No one else is going to do that.
Right.
And at the same time, they have to teach them how to work in a group. So group work and individual work complete each other. And this is something I'd like the parents and the teachers as well to pay attention to when they deal with their children and students.
Right. So now the point of individual work and group work again. Even the person who is not indirectly working in a team, I mean he's not directly working in a team, this person still is a part of an organization that has a vision and mission, as you have mentioned.
Oh yes,
right?
They share the same vision and mission. And it is the role of the head of the organization or the leader of the organization is how to put the pieces together. When he gives me a task, this task should complete the task that he gave to my neighbor or to the other employee and so on and so forth, how to put the pieces together.
All right, so now again, Dr. Mamdouh, the concept of teamwork, it was a little bit alien to Arabs prior to Islam. Because in a previous episode when we spoke, we know that some of them were completely resistant to the fact that they felt how could we all have one leader as tribes?
Yes.
Every tribe must have one leader.
Yes, we talked about this. This was individualism was one quality of the Arabs because they worked in small tribes. So they did not see what the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ, so he was in Mecca, but his eye and his mind and his thinking was on the whole globe. How can he spread his message throughout the whole world?
Right.
So this is one of the visions of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ.
And at the same moment, we know that they inherited this, the Arabs prior to Islam, this psychological barrier was inherited. So
yes, was inherited and practiced by the members of the tribe. Then when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ made his change, remember when we talked about the job of, or the role of leaders, is to make the change happen.
Exactly.
Particularly the change in the mindset. This is the most difficult one.
Right.
You can change any material things, but for things that are theoretical and matter of beliefs, to change them, it requires a lot of work.
So this is a really practical example of modern leaders who may face a challenge of one of the team members that they newly hired, for example, that he might or she might not be so interested in working in a team or belonging in a team.
Absolutely. And even it can begin in the interview. Remember why we selected you? Because we found that you are a good person, a good candidate for this job.
And you are a team player.
Yes, because you work in a team. Or you may need, but still you need some extra work, how to work with a group, and we will take care of this, something similar to this.
Right.
So it begins as early as possible to bring the attention of the employee that he needs to do extra teamwork.
Right. So, Dr. Mamdouh, here the point is, even if I go back, we tackled on the point of fasting, and when we do it in Ramadan all as a team, it's much easier.
Becomes very easy.
I want to move a little bit more to the prayer, because I know that it's much more preferable that we pray in a team than praying alone. Why is that?
The reward is much greater, as the Prophet ﷺ taught us that doing the prayer with a group, it gives you 27 rewards more than if you do it individually. So as you can see, imagine every day, if you do it 5 times and multiply 5 times by 27, you can do the math. I'm quite sure that it will reach about around about 200.
Yes.
200 rewards every
Compared
day
to if you do it
compared to
yourself.
it 5. And everybody is eager to get more and more and more. The concept of getting more is much better, of course,
Yes.
in terms of getting rewards, which is al-Jannah, right?
Exactly. All right, so now let's move on to a different aspect, which is the disputes. Muhammad ﷺ, back in time, one of his great qualities is that the disputes between the tribes, they would come to him and talk to him and say, what is your word? What is your opinion in this? And in this point, I think that it also included a part of a team because they needed to listen to each other.
Okay, of course. When you give opportunity to everybody to speak and to discuss and to participate, it means that he is part of the decision. Feeling that you are part of the decision in the company when you participate in discussion. And so this is something very important. But I'd like to add something more, which is very important, is that when you yourself as a leader participate in the work,
Become an example.
you become, from one perspective, that you become an example for all the people, and at the same time, you do something that everybody does. At least you begin it. So nobody would say that this work is kind of hard, this work is kind of, I don't like it, and so because they see the boss himself, the leader himself, is participating in this. And the Prophet ﷺ used himself when the companions were building the mosque and the house of the Prophet ﷺ. He was one of them. He used to carry bricks on his shoulder.
Right.
Everybody saw that. Yes.
He was a great leader by example.
No doubt, no doubt.
All right, so let's take a shorter break, and then we come back to continue talking about the empowering team spirit.
Inshallah.
Let's take a shorter break, our dear audience, and we come back. Stay with us.
Oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Go ahead, Ya Shu'aib. Recite from ayah number 16 to 26.
Yeah, okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولقد خلقنا الإنسان ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد.
يتلقى المتلقيان عن اليمين وعن الشمال قعيد ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد.
وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق ذلك ما كنت منه تحيد. ونفخ في الصور ذلك يوم الوعيد. وجاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد. لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد.
Recited every day. Oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Welcome back, our dear audience, after the short break. We're still talking about empowering team spirit with Dr. Mamdouh Muhammad. So, Dr. Mamdouh, one of the words that Aisha, the wife of Muhammad ﷺ, said that he was walking the Quran.
a walking Quran. A walking Quran. That means this is when she said that كان خلقه القرآن. Was the embodiment of the Quran. This is very interesting because this is one of the consistent strategies of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in all aspects of leadership. He used, as I mentioned earlier, he used to use the Quran as a tool. And this is a very effective tool. If people are not affected by what Allah says, nobody is going to affect them. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ excessively used the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the verses from the Holy Quran, to make his goal approachable or achievable or can be done easily. For example, the Prophet ﷺ in this aspect taught people what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Yadullahi fawqa aydihim. The hand of Allah is on their hands. So this gives people the power that now our hands together, we are united, we are working together, and we imagine that the hand of Allah is with us. It gives us a great motivation to continue and to perfect our work. Also, and the Prophet ﷺ warned the people against working separately and in isolation.
Right.
وَمَنْ شَذَّ شَذَّ فِي النَّارِ. Said the danger is if you leave the group and you try to achieve things by yourself, you are in hellfire. So try to see the difference. First one is the hand of Allah is with you. That means you are guaranteed paradise. The other one, if you keep yourself away from the group and the teamwork, you will be isolated, and this will lead you to hellfire. So this was a common technique throughout. The Prophet ﷺ used it, and I think it is very effective. And that's what people nowadays do. If a person starts using the Quranic verses, he has great impact on the people.
Right. So as per the words written here in the chapter, it says by putting himself, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, beside his companions in times of work, war, and hardship, Muhammad ﷺ sent a powerful message about the importance of sharing with the community.
Yes.
Now the point here that really highlights this statement is that a time of work, peace, war, anytime,
yes,
he was sharing.
Absolutely. The concept of sharing and consulting with the community, sharing what he has as a leader, and consulting them. So because from consultation comes new ideas.
Right.
No individual person has all the ideas in the world. It is so foolish to think in that direction. No. That's why even messengers of Allah, they used to consult with them, perhaps for showing us and proving to us that how important it is to consult with other people, because any decision comes out of consultation would be more solid than any condition that comes only individually. And that's why you have all these teams and committees and all these organizations. They work in groups. You never find an organization working. The final decision can be only stated to the people individually. But after we take the decision, after we discuss it and we come with a decision, you may be the one who is very good candidate to say it. It's not necessarily the top. It's not necessarily the leader himself to say it. It's someone else can do it. But it is our decision,
right,
under your leadership.
Right, yes, exactly. Okay, so now empowering team spirit requires leaders to attend not only to their own interactions with team members, but also to the ways they interact with one another.
Yes.
In modern time, like now they're the modern leaders, I think that's a big issue.
You mean big challenge, right? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think with little information to them and proving to them that this works better, because when you open the discussion for all the people at the same time, to control the issue of time and to allow everybody to speak, it would take more time than if you say, okay, now let's have 5 minutes. Each two of you or each three of you discuss the matter and come up with one decision. and each 3 here, and each 3 here. So in 5 minutes, I can get 6 decisions from 6 groups. Okay, it's still only 5 minutes.
Right.
And then the other 5 minutes, each group would have a representative to talk about the decision that his group came to. So now we have almost 6 people are sharing, which are representing their groups. That means this is a very simple representation matter.
Right.
So it becomes much easier for everybody to be involved in a small group and to share in a small group. Then we open the small groups to a big group that conveys the message of everybody to all of us together.
And I think also, even with a big number, we can still use we can still use the technology. Like you can ask them to write what they want to say in emails.
Absolutely.
You can group them on cards. You can do whatever you want that is convenient to you and to their time and also to the work environment.
Very good, because this is very important to save us some time, and time is very, very rare commodity that all of us are looking for it.
Exactly. All right. Now, taking again another perspective for the team spirit, I know that a family is a team as well.
It is a team.
And the team is consistent. I mean, is consisting a team players and a team leader.
Yes.
And sometimes the leader is switched at home between the husband and the wife because she might be the one taking good care of the kids now, and he as well. Now, what is your advice for both as a team? Because now when I speak, I don't want you to tell me about them as parents. I know that they are parents, but I want you to tell us their role as a team players, as a team leaders at home, for themselves, and with their kids.
When the kids are young, very young, I mean, less than 7 years old, it may be a little bit difficult to play this role. Unless it is something very close to them. For example, let's say that you gave him an amount of money, the child who is 7 years old, and you're asking, how are you going to spend it? Let's discuss this matter. If you are given 10 pounds or $10, how are you going to spend them? Let's make a small meeting to do that.
Decision-making meeting.
Decision. So we get the child, we hear to him. He's the most important person in this group now.
Right.
It does not mean that he is the leader, but he is the most important thing because he needs things, his needs, we don't know them very well. He may ask for buying a toy. He may ask for buying a book. He may ask for, So we don't know this, but at least...
You may learn about the kid's interests this way.
Yes. And also I would learn about his own interests. So I know more about him.
Hobbies, the things I may develop.
Which is something very important for the leader of any group, to know the people who he is working with.
To know them well, yes.
Yeah. So this can be done. When the children grow up, we give them more responsibility and more meetings. Of course, as you mentioned earlier, the family is an organization, very small organization. We called it the basic cell in the human society, in the whole society. So it's very good to exercise these issues of leadership and followers, right, within the family. Because if you are not successful as a follower, you will never be successful as a leader. And here we can teach them how to obey the decision when it comes out from the group.
Right. So now, moving to a different aspect, speaking negatively about my colleagues in a team, speaking negatively about others while they are not existing in the talk, how does this affect the team spirit?
No doubt. Negativity, as it sounds, something very negative, is very unuseful at all. So no matter who you are, if you slander some people who are not, or if you backbite them and they are not here, when I say that he did not finish the report, I can say it in a different way. We're sorry, we're not going to take a decision now because the report that was asked to be written was not written. I did not
I
say...
did not include him in the statement.
Absolutely. I did not mention who delayed the process. And at the same time, I showed a lot of respect. We are going to delay the decision, if possible, to the time when he comes or when she comes.
That's an interesting point, using the passive. I mean,
Yes.
take the action door out of it.
Of course, the passive form is very important. And this was a strategy of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. مَا بَالُ أَقْوَامٍ. He would know that this person, and he is sitting now, he is sitting that this person who delayed the report, right? And the other one is delayed the report as well. They had 2 reports to write. He would never mention their name. As you know, that some of our colleagues were busy doing other things, so they could not finish the reports without looking at them, or without pointing to them, without hurting their feeling. He would mention that. Right? So the people who delayed the reports themselves would know, but they were still keeping their integrity in front of the other colleagues because their names were not mentioned in such a negative circumstances.
Right. So now the thing of being negative is something that may kill the team spirit.
Absolutely, because everybody will respond even to himself. If he slandered this colleague today, or if he backbited him, tomorrow he's going to do this with me.
Right, exactly.
So immediately,
there must be a strong advice that this should be avoided. That's a very strong note to end our episode with. Dr. Mamdouh Muhammad, thank you so much for being with us.
Jazakallahu khairan. May Allah accept your effort.
Thank you, all of us, inshallah. Our dear audience, that was the last thing today in our episode talking about the team spirit, and we had the pleasure of having Dr. Mamdouh Muhammad, a former professor at Johns Hopkins University in the US. Stay tuned, we're going to be continuing to talk about the qualities of Prophet Muhammad, and we'll learn more all together. Stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you're Allah's chosen one, the chosen one to spread the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The chosen one, though the road is long, just know Allah won't let you lose your way. You are the mercy for mankind. You are the teacher for this life. Allah has blessed you with the Quran. Rasul Muhammad, oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.